guys, this is Fergal from PokerBee IP, and welcome to part 2 of Have You Got the Guts? We're playing some 20NL over on Guts Poker. This is a direct continuation of part 1, so we literally took just a couple of minutes in between, and we are back in the action, so the same pool of players in general. So if anyone has watched part 1, you'll be familiar with some of the general reads that we have here. So without further ado, let's jump straight back in. So as I said, exact same format, 3 tables of 20NL reg tables. We've built up a bit of a stack over here, and on the other 2 tables we're around about even. So we're going to start this off with a 3-bet versus Turbo Boy with our ace-queen suited. We 3-bet him a little bit towards the beginning of the last session from what I remember, but we haven't had a huge dynamic with him since. Don't love getting 4-bet, but we are going to call and see a flop. And we're not folding this one. If he bets, we are just going to ship it. Obviously, we have oodles of equity against any kind of hand he can have here, and if he ever folds, we pick up a huge pot without a fight, which is fine by us as well. If we get him to fold like ace-king, it would be amazing for us. He's thinking about it. Either way, there's no kind of disaster here for us when we have this much equity, so I mean, whatever happens, happens. So he has the ace-king, he has the diamond blocker, which really sucks. And unfortunately, his ace-king holds, which makes us very sad indeed. But as I said, I mean, we get it in with, 9 flush outs plus the 3 queen outs twice, so we have absolutely fine equity there. I'm not sure what I think of his call then. I mean, I don't think it's obscene, but I mean, I guess he's just kind of getting a good enough price that even if we have like a hand like 10s or jacks, he's probably getting the right price there anyway. So we have the king and the king up in the top left table. Pretty decent multi-way pot brewing here. And over on the top right table we have our friend Malix85 with an all-in. So how much do we want to make it? Let's make it 330 to go, dealer. So never a fun way to start off a video with an immediate stack down, but hey, these things, they are going to happen. We're not going to be too sad about it. Let's see if we can win some of it back over here. Pretty okay flop for us. I mean, there are some sets definitely. Pocket queens are pretty unlikely. Pocket 10s and 4s are possible. And we are just going to bet here and not plan on folding if he continues. Has not a very good card for us, is it? I still don't think we fold here, but we don't like life. His pocket 8's nice. Nice. So our check there definitely induced that jam. I think if we jam ourselves there, I think it's very unlikely that he calls. So we lose a stack, we win a stack. A fun start to the video, to say the least. And on the bottom left table, we saw a multi-way flop here with the 9-10 suited. We have not connected in any way, shape or form, so we let it go, no big deal. So we saw this guy, I think this guy seems just to be in open jam mode now, so we're going to be potentially getting involved in an €80 pot pretty soon with him. So yeah, this guy just limps and he just open ships, so this guy has just been wild. So he's been, I think that's the 3rd hand in a row that he's just jammed, so we're going to be having to potentially get in 200 bigs versus him pretty light, because if he's just doing this with any 2, I mean, no, he's not doing it with any 2, he finds the fold there. Interesting. Some people are funny. So 5 out of 10, we're going to let it go, and the ace deuce over here we are going to use as a 3-bet bluff with our ace blocker. And pretty easy open with pocket trays from the button. We take that down, which we definitely do not mind. Sorry, I was just getting something brought up on the screen there. Might have gone a little bit wonky there for a moment. We're just going to check back our threes here. We have some showdown value here, obviously, and betting doesn't accomplish that much. I mean, it gets him to fold some hands with equity against us, obviously, but I think a delayed c-bet on the turn does the exact same. So that's what we do, and we pick it up. We opened with the ace-jack, blind versus blind. We flop a gut shot to the nuts with the backdoor nut flush draw. Let's go ahead and fire a bet. We take that down, definitely a pretty good result for us. We would not have been overly keen about seeing turns there if we could avoid it, but there was a decent number of decent turn cards for us. Oh wow, we have some potential to get a pot going here versus Malik's. This is a potential €90 pot. Oh my god, let's just hold. Let's just hold! Please, one time. So he has the 6-7 off suit. That is a good start. And that is a good turn. So, casual €91 pot picked up, which we like. And versus a 3-bet here with the king-jack off suit, we're just going to let it go. I'm so tempted to call here with the 5s as well, to be honest. But I think it's... I mean, we're definitely ahead of his range in general, but it's just such a huge... It's a huge equity swing where... We're gonna have opportunities to get our money in better against this guy, basically. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So that might have been like a marginally profitable spot, but we can definitely just wait this guy out and find better spots. And we are going to bring it in for a squeeze here with our ace blocker, as we are prone to do. And we flop a pair, which is not insignificant. I'm going to check it back here. This guy rips. I mean, we're not folding ace-queen suited here, so... This is a spot. Like, I mean, I'm much happier getting ace-queen suited in here than I am pocket 5s. We haven't dominated, and we just need to fade the 5, please, dealer. He gets the chop dirty. So dirty. So dirty. We're going to check this back just because there is 3 to a flush, or 4 to a flush on the board. That's kind of upsetting. We would have had an extra €30 in our stack there if he had managed to not get there against us. But hey, we've taken a lot of money from this guy, so we can't really be too sad. He's just all in again. This is amazing. I mean, I know some people kind of get tilted by this play, but in general, it's just such a good thing for us. And no, we really want this guy to somehow win or chop. No, he doesn't. So presumably he's not going to leave. He's going to continue being all in every single hand with his €9, I would assume. Or at least the majority of his hands anyway. Yeah, shocker. That's kind of tilting. We would have had all of his money if we had just held with the ace-queen. Unfortunately, this guy here to our right gets it instead, though. Unfortunately. Let's see, is it a case of lather, rinse and repeat? My guess is it will be. I don't see why this guy is raising. I mean, he should just be limping, basically. Raising doesn't make any sense. He has the pocket 8s. So, unfortunately, this could be the end of our friend, which would make this table a lot less attractive. I mean, it's not that it's a bad table or anything, like the other people haven't impressed me too much, but we definitely would like to see this guy with some chippies, that's for damn sure. And he's sitting out now. Hopefully he's sitting out to go and rebuy. We're going to call with our pocket 8s over on the left table. Let's see a multi-way flop here with the king-queen suited. We get squeezed up here. We're pretty deep versus Raymond. We are going to go ahead and still see a flop. We definitely don't like getting squeezed. We would have preferred to see a cheaper flop, but hey, we can't have it all, am I right? This guy bets out. I mean, I would imagine that this guy is going to show us overpairs pretty frequently. He hasn't been going too crazy in general with his 3-bets from what we've seen. So when he does put in the squeeze, we were pretty much just set mining. When he fires out a bet, especially when he goes relatively large, it's not like he's going massive here, but he's going big enough. I would expect him to be very heavily weighted towards strong overpairs there, rather than hands like ace-king. And unfortunately, our player has indeed left the building. That was fun while it lasted, guys. So we got to play a decent amount of time. I mean, we definitely profited from having him at our table, so we're not too upset. We're definitely not too upset. And we're opening up the ace and the 3. We got a caller with the 4s. We would like to see a 4, obviously. This guy squeezes. He squeezes pretty large. Not gigantic or anything like that, but pretty big. We are just going to fold the 4s here. And this guy back raises, which is very peculiar when we're this deep. This is interesting. Obviously, we would have flopped the 4, but hey, it doesn't mean that it would have been a correct call. We're going to bet our top pair down here for value. We pick up the second nut flush draw, which we definitely like. We're going to go for value again here. King Queen is a concern, definitely. Actually, do we want to go for value here, or are we happy just to check back and realise some equity and pot control it a little bit? Like, getting 3 streets of value here seems very optimistic. So actually, I think I like checking back here, pot controlling it a little bit when we are beat, and going for 1 more street of value now on the river. We can still get paid in the river by like King 10 and stuff like that. I'm not folding here, but I'm not going to be shocked if we're beat at all. Yeah, King Queen, that makes sense. But we avoid losing some more money than we potentially could have, so we're not too upset about that. Could have gone worse. Just trying to figure out if we could have considered a fold there. I mean, a folding doesn't seem like it would be obscene. Given his line, it's very difficult for him to have that many draws there, and almost all of his King X are beating us there. I don't know if he's value betting hands like King 10 there. I mean, I guess he probably does, but maybe not. It would have been nice, obviously, to bink our club. The 9 Jack offsuit down here, it has been 3-bet. We are not planning on committing any more chippies. Let's just do a fold. Potentially large pot though. This guy 3-bets, this guy calls, and it's a multi-way 3-bet pot, which you don't see too often. We have an open-ender. We are going to fire said open-ender. I have a weak backdoor flush draw as well. We just bink it with the nuts. I think our best plan of action is just bet here massively and hope he has a jack, basically. Like, I'm not sure if he's going to be calling with anything that isn't a jack. So I figure let's just go huge and hope that we have coolered him. That's not a very good card, is it? That is not a very good card. The only good thing is that we do block the Jack X with the flush draw. And I'm not sure how likely it is that he's calling with just a lone flush draw versus our large sizing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet and plan on bet folding. Oh, running out of time. So I'm guessing he does have a jack. That's really upsetting because I was planning on just overbetting massively on the river there. Yeah, he has the queen jack. Maybe I got a little bit too tight there with not going huge, but as I said, he's less likely to pay. I mean, even if he has a lone jack, if we overbet there, I think he can definitely find a fold. If the flush draw doesn't roll off and we bet massively, I don't think he can ever consider folding there, so it kind of sucks. But we still pick up a decent pot, so we're not too sad. We're going to defend our big blind with our suited Jack X, and we pick up a gutter. We've no other backdoor to go along with it. If we had a single spade or anything like that, we could probably consider peeling once here, but without the spade, I think we're just going to fold out of position. And the jack and the tray we are going to let go as well. So we decided to call the under the gun open here with our 2s. We're pretty much just set mining here. We're going to check here and try to get to the turn. If it checks through and it checks to us again and a blank rolls off, we will consider bluffing it. Unfortunately, this guy has decided to bet himself, so we're just going to let it go. Definitely possibly he's bluffing there, given that it was checked to him and no one's shown too much strength or anything like that, so he can definitely be bluffing, but it's going to be too difficult to realise our equity if that is the case, so doing anything but folding there seems like a mistake to me. So we almost have a €100 stack up in the top right table. We like that. We like that a lot. And we have a queen and a queen on a table with a lot of deep-ish stacks anyway, which is fun. So we have 3-bet this guy in this exact dynamic a lot. So if this guy calls, I think we've squeezed these two guys a ton of the time. So hopefully someone decides to get fed up with us and play back at us a little bit light. That'd be nice. We're going to make it 480 to go. We could consider flatting here, but I prefer just raising it up. We got a caller, safe board, which we like. I'm going to bet 5 into 10. It's just a case of whether this guy's playing kings or aces this way. It's definitely possible. We're ahead of 10s and jacks, which you might play this way as well. I'm not folding here, by the way. I'm just deciding whether I want to go for all of the money or just call. I think I just want to call. 9-10 was not a hand I was expecting to see there. Wow. That was wild. When he called our 4-bet, I was almost, and when he called the flop, I was so convinced he had at least pocket 10s plus. He could have shown us pocket 9s potentially. I definitely wasn't expecting to see like 9-10 and stuff like that there. Especially, and when he bet the river, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to bet like that there. I think even betting 10s and jacks is questionable, I think, when we've shown a decent amount of strength. But hey, we took a line that managed to get a reasonable amount of money anyway. We possibly missed some value there. We probably could have gotten another tenner out of there. I mean, if we raise there, I don't imagine he's folding there. But and if he has those kinds of hands in his betting range, then not raising I think is pretty bad. It was definitely possible that he decided to slow play aces or kings there, which had me a little bit concerned. But as I said, I was never planning on folding or anything like that. It was just a case of whether we wanted to go for all the money or not, and perhaps we should have. But hey, could be worse. There have been some very nice hands this session so far, I have to say. I'm not sure how much we're up for this specific video, but it feels like it's a lot. It feels like it's a lot. The 8-2 suited, multi-way, we're just going to fold. Obviously, not much we're going to be able to do there. Another potentially interesting hand brewing up on the top left table. Raymond31 going for the cold 4-bet himself. Entirely possible that this guy is a little bit tilted after that hand, so I mean, this guy can be doing this a bit lighter than normal, I would imagine, after, like, people tend to be a little bit spewy after, you know, losing large hands like that, so wouldn't be completely shocked to see a weird bluff there. Not beyond the realms of possibility. We don't get to find out though. I really want to get to €100 over here before the video ends. It's just fun having like €100 stack in front of you. At like a low limit game, obviously, I mean. Not just at like 100 or something. The jack and the 8, we can consider opening here as a steal from the cutoff if it's folded to us. I think that's what we'll do. If there is any raise before us though, we will just be folding. Let's go for it. Get 3-bet immediately. We will have to sigh and fold. Seems to be the order of the day at this table down here. We haven't had a particularly good run of it. We've been doing a lot of folding, unfortunately. Let's lather, rinse, and repeat. Though we're going to be bringing in the ace and the jack for a steal, or for a raise, should I say? Not necessarily a steal. A steal implies a weaker hand. Table there, no mistake. We just align it back. And we take it down. the king and the queen, we will just flat if Raymond decides to open. Just as a kind of going back to what I was saying earlier on, it's entirely possible that he is a little bit tilted, and if we 3-bet him, we definitely don't want him, you know, willing to 4-bet bluff hands like ace-5 suited or anything like that. It's just a disaster for our hand. So I would be happy just to flat call and see a flop, and play some post-flop poker against somebody who we think may be a little bit tilted, which is always fun. We're going to defend our big blind with the suited king-queen and flop the flush because we're class. And we're also going to defend over here as well. We're going to lead out here. Unfortunately, we're flopping pretty well at the moment. Unfortunately, we're going to get a lot of folds here, I think. But, I mean, I want to start building the pot now. I don't want to check and allow him the opportunity to check back. And here, we're just going to go on the larger side and try to convince him that we are on a bluff here. I think what we're going to do on the bottom left table now is call again and then lead rivers. Just try to rep a missed flush draw, basically. And we're trying to get called by overpairs here, which we do not, unfortunately. And again, we're so close over here, 70 more cent, and we have our €100 stack that we are aiming for. But 2 decent hands in a row anyway. We defend with 2 speculative-ish suited broadways, and we flop very well on both. We can't complain too much. The 10-8 offsuit, we're just going to be folding, and the 4-3 suited we've already folded from UTG, or not from UTG, from, I don't know, it was from early position. Ace-6, again, not going to be good enough from the mid position. We are going to be playing the 8s in a lot of different scenarios here, though. This guy opens, we're happy just to call on the button and see a flop. That is not really the flop we were looking for. We do have 3 to a straight, which is something. This guy min leads, which is really tilting. We're not folding to a min raise, sorry, to a min lead when we're getting this price, when we have backdoors and 8 outs, or sorry, when I say 8 outs, I mean like our potential 8s, which would be good. We pick up a gutter, so we call again. I mean, are we ever, I mean, I'm not folding here, we're getting like nearly 20 to 1, but are we ever good? I don't think so. Pocket queens, yeah, fair enough. As I said, I mean, we're just not folding there, getting that good a price. But whether that will actually be a profitable call, I am suspicious. Like if this guy had folded, I would have considered to a re-raise, because that's something I've been experimenting with a little bit in my game. Like I found that those kinds of bets tend to be exactly what they look like. Just someone going for like thin value with the weak pair. And you know, we're behind. I mean, he can, if he's doing that with 9-10, he can maybe be doing that with some 7x as well, potentially. So sometimes we actually are ahead there with our 8s, but if we raise there, it's very, very difficult for him to call down with anything worse than an ace. So the fact that this guy had called as well made me less inclined to do it, because he can have some maybe weak ace-x that he's protecting with. But in general, I think a raise there, if we're heads up, is going to turn a really solid profit. The king and the jack offsuit, same principle again. We're just going to defend versus Raymond, although he has calmed down a little bit. Maybe he's not that tilted anymore. But I mean, whether we 3-bet or call here, I don't really mind a huge amount either way. Normally, I prefer 3-betting because it's, you know, takes the initiative and it's going to be better a little bit in the long run. But definitely don't mind just calling and seeing flops as well. When this guy 3-bets from this position, I'm actually just going to fold the ace queen. It's definitely nitty, there's no doubt about it. But we're out of position, and we're going to have a hand that will suffer from some domination issues. Like, I mean, he can definitely have the ace kings and the strong pocket pairs and stuff like that. So even if we flop a single top pair hand, we're not like in love with our hand or anything like that. And we're out of position in what's likely to be a multi-way pot. So it's just going to be a really, really tricky hand to play post. As I said, I mean, calling is never going to be atrocious or anything like that there, but it's just going to put us in a lot of really, really awkward spots that we're not very comfortable with. And I'm a fan of avoiding awkward spots. Interesting to see if this gets to showdown. King 5 suited from the cutoff, definitely good enough to open in my opinion. Yep, 3-bet. We fold. We've been getting 3-bet tons and tons and tons. Maybe we should start tightening up our opening ranges. It seems to be a relatively 3-betty game. So perhaps that is something that we should start consider doing, just starting to fold those kinds of weak hands that are very, very speculative and tighten up our range a little bit. I'm going to fold the 4s to the 3-bet as well. This is the kind of hand I'm talking about. 9-5 suited, I mean, I would typically open here on the button because it's suited and semi-connected, but perhaps we should be folding these types of hands in a more aggressive game. The king and the jack offsuit, though, we're certainly bringing it in. So no matter what happens, if we see a flop, we'll be in position, which is good news for us. If there's a single reasonable 3-bet, we will call. We block a lot of Queen X, we block like Queen Jack and King Jack obviously, which is good news for us. We will consider floating once potentially here. Let me think about this. He's gone reasonably big is the only problem with doing that. Alright, now fair enough, we'll let this one go. When he chooses that sizing, if he goes like half pot there, I think we can consider floating and looking to play turns aggressively then if checked to. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's still 3-bets and he bets quite big as well on the flop. We have to give him a little bit of credit there. As much as it pains me to say it, sometimes you just got to do it. And King Deuce, it's obviously a fairly trashy hand, but we're getting 2-1 and we have position and we're closing the action, so we're going to call and see a flop. This is a board that we are definitely going to float one. If he bets again, we will consider a raise because it's kind of hard for him to have a hand that he wants to play a big pot with here. We have way more 4x than this guy does. Nice. And the deuce in the tray, we are going to be letting go. So we're going to be wrapping up the video reasonably soon, and I will likely record another one afterwards though and keep this going because I think we have a bit of an interesting dynamic with a few of the players now, so we'll see, The 6 and the tray, obviously nothing we're going to be able to do there. Hopefully we just get to check and see a free flop, or even better, hopefully we just get a walk. That'd be fantastic, obviously, but not all that likely, of course. The button lets us down, he brings it in for the open, we let it go, and we're going to be folding the king 4 on the button as well. Blind versus blind, I am happy to go for a steal here though with the king X. Obviously king queen of suit from the cutoff, very standard open. We get one caller on the button, which we don't love because we have to play out of position, but obviously there are a decent number of favourable flops for us, so we don't hate life either. This being a very good flop for us. We're going to make it a euro to go. We can get paid by worse Queen X, we can get paid by hearts. I'm not really afraid of many deuce X, obviously. That is a particularly awful card for us. Queen Jack is now ahead of us, and all of the hearts are ahead of us as well, of course. Guess we're going to bet for value now. Opening up with the 10s, and let's see if we get any action. This is probably going to be our last hand of the session. We're going to be wrapping it up very, very soon. Although we have another minute or so, so if that hand went to flop, it probably would have been our last hand. But we will be wrapping it up now very, very shortly. Let's see if we can get one last hand in to round it out. One last hand. We don't have that many more opportunities though. Deuce 9 ain't gonna be it. We'll wait to see. We'll get one more hand over here and see if we get something fun in the big blind. If not, we will call it a video there and then. Although this looks like it could be an interesting hand, even if we're not involved in it. 4-bet blind versus button versus small blind and a fold. Fair enough. So ace deuce and 10 jack, some potential to be played. So these are going to be the last hands of the video. As I said, this has been Fergal from Poker VIP. Hope you have enjoyed watching, and we will be back again soon for part 3 as well. So let's bring it in for a 3-bet for the fans. Take it down with the ace deuce, definitely don't mind that. We'll go for the steal with the ace 10. This guy is thinking about it. When people think about it, I don't usually like it. Calls, okay. I'm not going to c-bet this board. Mainly because it's pretty difficult for us to rep. And yeah, we're just going to check fold here, unfortunately. As I said, this has been Fergal from Poker VIP. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all soon for part 3. Take care.